The echoes of a Primarch's death scream across 10,000 years, clawing at the edges of my sanity like talons on ceramite. I am Brother Sergeant Elias Thorne of the Blood Angels, 4th Company, 9th Tactical Squad. For 243 years I have been the Emperor's wrath incarnate, a crimson blade cleaving through the galaxy's horrors. But tonight, as bioluminescent spores drift like cursed snow over the shattered hives of Zerion Prime, I confess, the black rage has me in its jaws. It began with a single drop of blood, not mine, but an enemy's, that carried visions of ancient betrayal. Now, as I lead my squad into the maw of a tyrannid swarm, the serpent of madness uncoils within, promising not just death, but damnation. This is my testament, brothers. Heed it, for the line between angel and monster is etched in blood, and it frays with every heartbeat. We descended upon Zerion Prime not as saviors, but as executioners. The planet's hive cities had fallen to the insatiable hunger of Hive Fleet Gorgon. Their spires now twisted into organic spires pulsing with alien life. Our orders from Captain Varsiperan were merciless. Infiltrate the primary hive nexus, deploy exterminatus-grade vortex charges at its tectonic fault lines, and ensure nothing survived to feed the swarm. A clean purge, he called it, 3 weeks at most. But the Emperor laughs at such plans, and the tyrannids devour them. Our Thunderhawk pierced the spore-choked atmosphere like a spear, disgorging us into the ruins of Hive Primus. The air reeked of chitin and decay, visibility choked to a mere 15 meters by the biological fog. I led 9th Squad, 10 crimson-clad warriors, each bearing the flawless gene seed of Sanguinius, each hiding the same shadowed curse I battled. Formation Epsilon, I voxed, my voice a blade of command. Brother Silas, point. Brother Kale, flank watch. 5-meter spread, eyes sharp. The swarm senses us already. The primary objective loomed ahead, the geothermal core, a colossal shaft plunging 5 kilometers into the planet's crust, now repurposed as a gestation pit for the hive's endless brood. Intel painted it as a churning vortex of biomass, dissolving the hive's billions into fuel for the fleet's advance. Our vortex charges would trigger seismic cascades, burying it all in molten rock. A clean purge, he called it, 3 weeks at most. But the Emperor laughs at such plans, and the tyrannids devour them. We advanced through skeletal hab-blocks, bolters humming with restrained fury. The silence was unnatural. No chittering gaunts, no distant bioplasma shrieks. It pressed like a psychic weight, stirring the whispers in my mind, shadows of wings unfurling in my peripheral vision, the copper tang of unspilled blood on my tongue. Sergeant Thorne, Brother Silas voxed, his tone edged. Contacts ahead, warrior forms, 10 strong with gaunt support. They're coordinated. Hive mind's grip is tight. I felt the tremor then, not seismic, but internal. A flash, the gilded halls of the vengeful spirit, Horus's leering face, the agony of a brother's betrayal. I crushed it down, teeth grinding. Hold formation. Grenades on the swarm, bolters on the warriors. Mark on my signal. They erupted from the murk like living nightmares, tyrannid warriors, exoskeletons glistening with ichor, scything talons primed for harvest. "For the angel!" I bellowed, bolt pistol cracking. Explosive rounds hammered into chitin, detonating in sprays of gore. 3 warriors crumpled in the opening salvo, Brother Lucius's plasma incinerating another's thorax. Venting plasma scorched us both. He fell screaming, armor melting. I charged, chainsword burying in the warrior's gut, twisting until it spasmed dead. Brother Kale stared through his helm, unspoken questions heavy. "The Emperor protects," I grated, the words a ward. We pressed on, tallying losses. Darius gone, Lucius critical but mobile, gene seed harvested. 200 meters to the shaft. "Rest cycle," Brother Silas urged privately. 17 hours of combat, Sergeant. Limits approach. The rage craved more blood, but reason prevailed. 30 minutes, perimeter up. Raphael and Kale, watch. I removed my helm, the fetid air grounding me. From my belt a vial, thirst suppressant, bitter alchemy from our sanguinary priests. 2 doses left. I swallowed, fire in my veins easing the haze. Silas watched. I ignored the doubt in his stance. Resuming, the ruins warped into biostructures, walls throbbing with luminescence. "Life signs clustered," Raphael reported. "Confused signatures, overlapping." Dread coiled. "Gene stealers. Purge formation. Flamers front." The shaft yawned, a mouth ringed in organic horror. They struck like shadows incarnate. 6 purple-hued abominations, claws rending ceremite. Brother Lucius's flamer roared, incinerating one mid-leap. Bolters barked. Kale's heavy felled another. I faced a patriarch hybrid, its fanged visage a mockery. It lunged. I parried, chainsword screeching against claws. It grappled, fangs seeking my neck. I jammed my pistol under its chin, exploding its skull. Brother Lucius screamed. The last stealer impaled him, fangs sinking. The rage exploded, no longer thorn, but primal fury. Flashes, chainsword eviscerating, ichor spraying, screams blending human and alien. Clarity returned amid carnage, Lucius dead, the squad circling warily. Silas approached, bolter wary. "With us, Sergeant?" "I lied, voice raw. "Cassius lives but immobile. We carry him. Objective awaits." Into the shaft, pulsating walls, bioluminescent hell. Gantries clung precariously. We descended, psychic pressure mounting. Visions assaulted. Sanguinius's stand, Horus's malice. At the nadir, 30 meters above the gestation vat, a roiling sea of liquefied horror, the hive mind whispered. "Son of the angel, your rage mirrors our hunger. Join us, sate the thirst eternally." Temptation flickered, endless release, but oaths held. For the Emperor, I armed the charge, 10 minutes ticking. Shapes rose from the vat, adaptations birthing to hunt. "Withdraw! Hostiles ascending!" Silas and Septimus confirmed charges set, but Septimus's vox gurgled, then silenced. Ambush, life signs null. We climbed amid pursuit. Kale's bolter puvered, shredding climbers. 5 minutes left. Hybrids blocked the secondary tunnel, twisted colonists, claws gleaming, caught between tides. "Mission first," I commanded. "Silas, Raphael, Kale, advance and extract. Report success. We hold." Silas hesitated. "Honor to serve, Sergeant." They breached, vanishing. We held, chainsword singing through hybrids, Nemeus falling to a pickaxe, Cassius clubbing from knees. Psychic assault peaked, visions of the palace, Horus's sneer. I became sanguineous, charging traitors, breaking lines. 1 minute, premature detonation rocked us. Tunnels collapsed, buried brothers, pursuing swarm. Blast hurled me forward, senses rebooting in intact section. Alone, damaged, rage simmering. I emerged to surface crater. Objective achieved, swarm crippled locally, but stragglers converged. Embracing rage, I slaughtered. Knife, fists, debris. Clarity post-carnage, body failing, toxin air burning lungs, last suppressant downed, hours of lucidity, no death company dignity here. Toward the hive core, governor spire, now Norn queen lair. Subterranean paths, stealth evading patrols. In the chamber, flesh tower birthing horrors, dormant swarms circling. The hive mind resonated with my curse. Madness inspired. Unleash the rage psychically. Flood the synapse with Sanguinius's death echo. Surrendering, I projected betrayal's agony. Primarch's fall. Tyrannid spasmed, connections fracturing, waves of disruption, creatures turning feral, queen collapsing in decay. Victory, hive fragmented, invasion stalled. But I shattered, organs failing, blood weeping. The whispers of the damned echo through the void, carried on data slates recovered from worlds long consumed by the great devourer. I am Brother Chaplain Lucius Varrock of the Blood Angels, Reclusiarch of the Fourth Company, bearer of the Crozius Arcanum and guardian of souls teetering on the abyss. For 312 years I have shepherded the sons of Sanguinius through the fires of war, offering absolution to the faithful and mercy to the fallen. But today, as our strike cruiser, the Crimson Fury, hangs in geosynchronous orbit over the ashen remnants of Zirian Prime, I record this addendum to Brother Sergeant Elias Thorne's testament. His words, etched into a battered Auspex recorder, salvaged from the hive ruins, have stirred the curse within me like never before. The black rage does not claim us in isolation. It binds us in shared damnation. This is the account of what came after, the reclamation, the revelation, and the serpent's coil tightening around my own soul. Heed it, brothers, for even in death the fallen whisper warnings that may yet save the living. Our assault on Zirian Prime had been a Pyrrhic triumph. Captain Vesperian's main force breached the outer hives 2 days after 9th Squad's sabotage, expecting a coordinated swarm. Instead, we found chaos. Not the warp's taint, but literal disarray. Tyrannid bioforms turned feral, ripping into their own broods without the hive mind's guiding synapse. Gaunt's mauled warriors, carnifexes rampaged blindly, crushing gestation pools underfoot. It was as if the swarm's collective will had shattered, leaving only instinctual savagery. We purged what remained with flamers and bolters, but the victory tasted of ash. Of 9th Squad, only 3 extracted, Brother Silas, Raphael, and Kell. Their armor scarred, their reports fragmented. Sergeant Thorne, He held the line. The rage took him, but he bought our escape. The rest buried in the collapse. I led the recovery team myself, descending into the cratered hellscape with a squad of Death Company aspirants, brothers on the razor's edge, their armor already daubed in black, awaiting the final plunge. The air hummed with residual psychic static, spores clinging to our seals like accusatory fingers. We followed the faint transponder signals from fallen power armor, digging through rubble fused with chitin and ichor. Brother Nemeus first, his gene seed intact, but his form mangled. Then Cassius, crushed but defiant even in death, Bolter still gripped. The others followed, one by one, until only Thorn was unaccounted for. Chaplain, Brother Orion voxed, his tone laced with unease. Auspex ping, faint but stable, deeper in the sublevels, near the governor's spire. We pressed into the underhive, the tunnels a labyrinth of collapsed biostructures and flickering bioluminescence. The psychic residue was thicker here, a cloying pressure that stirred visions at the edges of my sight. Flashes of angelic wings folding in defeat, the arch-traitor's mocking laughter. I crushed them with litanies of hate, but the aspirants shifted uneasily, their own curses bubbling closer to the surface. Gene-stealer remnants ambushed us twice, feral hybrids, uncoordinated but vicious. We cut them down with Crozius and chainsword, their deaths a brief salve against the growing thirst. At the heart lay the chamber, a cavernous ruin where the Norn Queen had birthed her horrors. Now it was a graveyard of ruptured flesh pods and decaying chitin. The central tower slumped like a felled beast. Amid the carnage, we found him, Brother Sergeant Elias Thorn, propped against a membranious wall, armor breached in a dozen places, blood long congealed. His helmet lay discarded, eyes staring sightlessly at the Emperor's void. In his gauntlet, he clutched the Auspex recorder, its data crystal pulsing faintly. No gene seed to recover. The rage had burned through him too fiercely, leaving only desiccated remains. But his final act, channeling the Primarch's death echo as a psychic weapon, had crippled the hive. A miracle or a heresy. The line blurred, as it always does for us. I activated the recorder there, in that tomb of alien filth, the aspirants forming a vigilant circle. Thorn's voice emerged, ragged and resolute, recounting his descent, the whispers, the visions, the seductive lure of the hive mind, and his defiant projection of Sanguinius's agony. The words struck like thunder. One aspirant, Brother Jael, dropped to his knees, helm vents hissing as he fought back a roar. The angel's pain, it calls. I silenced him with a gaunted hand on his pauldron. Control it, brother, or join the death company now. But inwardly, the serpent stirred in me too. The same coil Thorn described, whispers of blood and betrayal, growing louder. Extraction was fraught. Feral tyrannids, severed from the hive mind, roamed in packs, drawn by our movements. A Carnifex variant, hulking, blind with rage, charged our position, biocannons spewing undirected acid. Brother Orion met it head-on, his thunderhammer cracking its carapace, but talons raked his chest plate, vitals flatlining mid-swing. We avenged him with concentrated plasma, the beast's death throes collapsing a tunnel section. 2 more aspirants fell to gaunt swarms, their sacrifices buying our retreat. As we ascended in the Thunderhawk, Zirion's surface blooming with orbital bombardments, I pondered Thorn's warning. Even in damnation, there can be purpose. Back aboard the Crimson Fury, in the Reclusium's shadowed halls, I transcribed Thorn's testament, appending it to the chapter's annals. Captain Vesperian commended the mission's success. Hive Fleet Gorgon splintered, Zirion denied as biomass, but his eyes held questions. The psychic disruption, was it warp sorcery? I shook my head. No, Captain, it was the flaw, turned weapon. Sanguinius's echo, amplified through a brother's fall. He nodded gravely, but I saw the doubt. The blood angels guard our secrets fiercely. To wield the rage thus risks scrutiny from the Inquisition. That night, in meditation before the reliquary of Sanguinius's feather, the visions came unbidden. Not faint echoes, but vivid assaults. The vengeful spirit's decks slick with ichor. No, blood. The War Master's form blurring into a Norn Queen's writhing mass. You consume as we do, the high voice insinuated, melding with Horus's taunt. Join the hunger. I rose, Crozius in hand, smashing a practiced servitor to scrap in a frenzy before regaining control. The suppressant vials in my apothecarian kit tempted me. 4 doses remained, but I resisted. A chaplain must exemplify restraint, even as the abyss gazes back. Our next deployment looms, Armageddon's hives, where the green tide rises again. I will lead the death company into the fray, black-armored brothers howling Sanguinius's name. Thorn's record will be their catechism, a reminder that the rage need not be mere madness. But as the whispers grow, I wonder, will I join them soon too? The line frays, brothers, the serpent coils, yet in our shared blood lies not just curse, but salvation. If the flaw can shatter a hive mind, what might it do against greater foes? We are damned, yes, but our damnation may yet be the Imperium's shield. The thunder of war drums echoes across the ash wastes of Armageddon, a symphony of destruction that drowns out even the whispers of the damned. I am Captain Marcus Vesperian of the Blood Angels, 4th Company, commander of the Crimson Fury and bearer of the Angel's Glaive, a relic blade that has tasted the blood of 1,000 Xenos and heretics. For 387 years, I have led my brothers through the galaxy's infernos, forging victory from the jaws of defeat, all while guarding the secret shame that courses through our veins. But now, as green-skinned hordes surge against our lines in Hive Hell's reach, Chaplain Varek's addendum burns in my mind like a plasma core. Brother Thorn's sacrifice on Zirion Prime was no mere martyrdom. It was a revelation, a weaponization of our curse that tempts fate itself. The black rage, once our hidden doom, now beckons as a double-edged sword. This is my decree, my burden, my own creeping confession. As the Orc Wa crashes upon us, I must decide, wield the flaw as salvation or let it consume us all. Heed these words, sons of Sanguinius, for in the fires of Armageddon our damnation may forge the Imperium's unbreakable shield, or shatter it forever. The deployment to Armageddon came swiftly after Xerion's purge, the crimson fury slicing through the warp like a vengeful seraph. Gosgol's green tide had returned, stronger than before, hives crumbling under the weight of Shrap Titans and endless boys mobs. Our orders from Chapter Master Dante were unequivocal. Reinforce the Black Templars at Hell's Reach, blunt the Orc advance, and deny the beasts their momentum. But whispers from Xerion haunted our briefings. Thorn's testament, appended by Varric, circulated among the officers like forbidden scripture. The rage as weapon, Varric intoned in the Reclusium, his Crozius raised. A psychic lance against the hive mind. Imagine it turned on the Orc's crude energy. I dismissed it then as chaplain's fervor, but the serpent coiled tighter in my soul, visions of Sanguinius's fall blending with the green haze of Orc brutality. We made planetfall amid orbital barrages, thunderhawks disgorging squads into the breached walls of Hive Hell's Reach. The air was thick with promethium smoke and the acrid stink of orc spores, visibility slashed by dust storms whipped from the ash plains. I led the assault personally, 4th Company arrayed in crimson phalanx, bolters roaring in unison. For the angel, purge the green filth, my vox-amplified bellow cut through the din. Orcs charged in howling waves, choppers gleaming, sluggers barking crude rounds that pinged off our ceramite. Brother Sergeant Kairos' squad held the left flank, heavy bolters scything through knobs like wheat. To the right, the Death Company, 20 black-armored brothers, led by Varric, plunged into the melee, their howls a chilling echo of the Primarch's death cry. The battle raged for hours, our lines holding but bending under the Waa's piketic frenzy, a crude, brutish energy that amplified the Orcs' savagery, making them shrug off wounds that would fell lesser foes. I fought at the vanguard, the Angel's glaive humming with disruptive fields as it cleaved through mega-armored knobs. One brute, a war boss proxy with a power claw crackling green lightning, lunged at me. I parried, the clash sparking like thunder, then countered with a thrust that pierced its gut, spilling foul innards. But as it fell, a psychic backlash hit, a Waa pulse from the distant Gosgol, stirring the rage within. Visions flashed, not Horus's betrayal, but a green-skinned mockery of it. The War Masters formed bloating into an orc overlord, laughing as talons became choppers.
"Captain," Varric voxed, his voice strained amid the Death Company's frenzy. "The orc's psychic field grows, it's resonating with our flaw, stirring the aspirants prematurely." I glanced to the black-clad warriors. They fought with godlike fury, but erratically, some turning on shadows as if battling ghosts. 2 had already succumbed fully, charging orc lines alone and vanishing in explosions of squig mines. The serpent whispered, "Thorn's method. Channel the rage outward, disrupt the Waa as he shattered the hive." Heresy? Perhaps. But Armageddon teetered. If we fell, the hive would follow. I ordered a tactical withdrawal to the hive's inner bastion, a fortified chapel, once dedicated to the Emperor's saints, now a redoubt of adamantium and faith. There, amid flickering lumen globes and the moans of wounded brothers, I convened with Varric and the surviving sergeants. Thorn's testament, I said, projecting the data slate's glow. He projected the Primarch's death echo, fracturing the Tyrannid synapse. The Orc-Wa is similar, a collective psychic roar. If we amplify our rage... Varric's helm tilted, his skull mask impassive. It would require volunteers, Captain. Brothers on the edge, surrendering fully to broadcast the flaw. Success could shatter the Orc coordination. Failure, mass damnation. Uncontrolled berserkers in our midst. The decision weighed like a collapsing star. I authorized it. 5 aspirants, teetering brothers, daubed in partial black. Varric led them in rites, suppressants withheld, the rage coaxed to the surface with chance of Sanguinius's fall. As the Orc siege intensified, cruisers bombarding from low orbit, gargants lumbering closer, the 5 were positioned on the bastion's ramparts, minds linked in a crude psychic array via our Librarius's sanction. "Embrace it," Varric intoned, Crozius alight. "Let the angel's agony flow, not inward, but out. Strike the green heart." The release was cataclysmic. The aspirants roared as one, bodies convulsing, visions of the vengeful spirit projecting outward in a psychic scream. I felt it tear through me, a crimson wave of betrayal, pain, and angelic wrath. The Orcs faltered. Boys' mobs halted mid-charge, turning on each other in confusion. Knobs howled, clutching heads as the Wa field cracked, their crude unity splintering into individual rage. A gargant nearby staggered, its crew fighting internally, before toppling into a hive spire in a thunderous crash. "It's working," Sergeant Kairos voxed, bolters exploiting the chaos. But the cost... Oh, Emperor, the cost... 3 aspirants burned out instantly, minds shattered, bodies crumbling like discarded husks. The other 2 rampaged uncontrollably, turning on our lines before Varric's mercy bolts ended them. And in me, the serpent uncoiled fully, the rage surging, visions overwhelming, Sanguinius falling, but now the betrayer wore Guzcall's iron jaw, mocking our bloodline. I charged into the fray, glaive a blur, cleaving Orcs by the dozen, but rationality frayed. "Captain," Varric's voice pierced the haze, "control it or join the fallen." We held Hell's Reach that day. The Orc advance broken, reinforcements from the Black Templars sealing the victory. But as I stand in the Crimson Fury's stratagem, Armageddon's fires receding below, Thorns and Varric's words echo. We wielded the flaw as weapon, saving a hive at the price of brothers' souls. The Inquisition circles now, whispers of psychic anomaly drawing their gaze. Will this be our salvation against greater foes? The Necron awakening, the Chaos incursions, or the path to our chapter's condemnation? This is my record, my warning. The black rage binds us, brothers, a shared blood that curses and empowers. In damnation's embrace we find purpose, but tempt hubris. Let my words append the chain, from Thorn's fall to Varric's revelation, to this fragile triumph. The serpent coils ever tighter. Yet for the Emperor, for Sanguinius, we endure. Our blood may yet be the galaxy's redemption, or its undoing. Ave Imperator.